Okay, Ben Zagel sent these. Oh, that's neat. So this guy's leaning in, looking at the turbo. I kind of want to see it a little bit wider or a little narrower. Again, I think like an over-the-shoulder thing could be kind of cool. Or if we had a little bit wider, so we're not cropping off this turbo badge. It does seem a little bit overexposed in parts. But I think you captured a moment. He's taken off his sunglasses. I just noticed taking off his sunglasses, and then he's got a cigarette there. He took off his glasses to get a better look, which is kind of neat. So, good catch. And then we've got this SC Targa from above. Love the shadows coming off of the car. From the other car here, I'm thinking maybe this was at a show or an event similar to that one. But this is definitely a good time of day, very dramatic. It looks a little bit blown out, just a little bit too hot, but not the end of the world. And a very clean backdrop. I like this gritty pavement with this nice warm light hitting it. Here is a skyline framed by another car, framed by like a T-top. So it might be framed by like a 300ZX or something. I like this framing device, and sometimes I wonder if, to get that, to utilize the framing device, if something else is suffering. Like if we could get a different perspective. I don't really like these like shoes here. And then I don't like how this guy is like crouched over weird. So, if we weren't confined to this framing device, we could probably find a way to hide the shoes under the car. So that's my only thing. I think this is a creative look. I think you're looking and you've got your eyes looking for solutions, looking all the right places, and I think you just got to keep doing that and don't stop there. So very cool. And then this one, it's a little jarring that the car is like completely out of focus because we're focusing on these flowers. So if we're gonna do that, I want the camera like in the flowers. Like I want it on the ground, through the flowers, like really make it clear that the flowers are the intended subject. Because right now it is sort of framed as if the car is the subject, but it is not sharp. So that's my biggest thing there. But again, you're looking and you're using your eyes, and that's the best thing you can possibly be doing. So keep at it. Thank you so much, Ben, for sending these in. All right, Arian sent this Mustang. It looks like a snowy landscape. Really beautiful landscape. Really nice depth of field, like nice shallow depth of field. When I say nice depth of field, I mean it's like we get like good bokeh and everything. I could clarify that. I think this would benefit from a CPL where the windshield is not so washed out, blown out, and same with the hood. The matte finish is really making that hood bright and blown out, and I would love to see it tonally more like the side of the car. And then also the wheel is pointing the wrong way. Like I think the wheel should be not. I don't ever want to see the tire like this. So I think this was a great location, great idea. Just a couple little detail things that would make this stronger, and then I would like to see a little bit more foreground ground just to get us a little bit away from the edge. But really nicely done. Thank you so much for sending that in. bearchaosjam sent a wide variety of shots here. So let's just go through them. So this is indoors somewhere, like a shop or something. I think the color is kind of weird. It's very magenta. And even if that was the actual colors, I think it's, you could tweak it. I kind of want to see it a little bit more neutral or a little more, more blue. I'm not really liking the magenta. It is interesting that we've got the halo lights on. Could even augment that by sort of underexposing the car and keeping those headlights popping. if we're showing the shop and the environment, maybe I want to step back and see a little bit more of the scene. And if we're just showing this car, this isn't like the most amazing way to do that. Maybe it could be more clear that we're highlighting this, because right now we're kind of splitting our attention and the perspective. A lot of the car is dark in a way that's just not quite working for me. We've got a drift shot here, which I really like. Everything's really sharp, but it's clearly a lower shutter speed because we've got this wheel blur and we've got background blur. So this is a really well captured shot. Great sense of speed. Love the tire smoke. Would maybe even love to see a little more behind the car to see a little more of that tire smoke, but really cool. We've got a McLaren in these two shots. And these just kind of feel very snapshotty to me, like it's just leaving a car show. And I don't want to speculate if that's the case, but I think that is the case. This would benefit from like a circular polarizer to knock back this whitewashed windshield. And then in a scene like this, again, if the camera is on the ground or something, you can get this perspective that's a little more interesting. And also at the same time, you'd block out more background stuff. That could be one thing to try. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just seems like a car leaving a car show. Now, this one, the only issue I have is just this light pole kind of is unfortunate. But I really like the light and the contrast, and even we're using, it's like a wide angle lens. And I think it's really working with this car. I think the American cars, this has little hints of tail fins. Old American cars with these huge proportions, really wild proportions, can really benefit from a wide angle lens, close up, giving us making that look even more extreme. So I really think this one works for me, using that lens and the perspective to really make it look dramatic. And then I like that we can see the script there. Like, this car has so many details, so we're seeing all the details and we're seeing kind of the whole form. So I think if we just photoshopped this out, that would be a strong photo. Here we've got two Corvettes, clean background, pavement, really dramatic, late afternoon, early evening, golden hour sun coming through. And I'm just not sure if we're focused on the most interesting part of the scene. And maybe there's a crop that could happen. The shadow here is kind of bugging me. Just I kind of wish the whole car was in the sun, or we cropped to focus on the part that's in the sun. And I'm also seeing little bits of this reflection in this white car of the yellow car, and that looks really cool. So I don't know if there's something there. This one, if this was in the sun, it would be stronger, and I would like it more. Or if we were even higher and pointed down, and this was darker and really made that yellow pop. The yellow is popping, and that's where my eye goes to, and that's interesting. And so I kind of want the photo to be more about that yellow that's popping in the sunlight. A lot of cool details on these cars, these vents, this wheel, the mirror, all of that. And they're lit so dramatically right now. So I kind of want to see more of that explored. This one I'm not crazy about. I'm not a distractingly messed up Honda there. We're shooting through the fence, and sometimes that can work for me. And if this was isolated, maybe that would work for me, but it's not totally working for me here. However, this one, I like this. Beautiful walls, great walls. We've got a nice zoom on this, a nice vertical framing. This is just a great, vehicle in the scene. So I think this one, you really nailed it. I love it when cars have faces. You've really brought that out here. Here we've got an Aventador with all the fixins. So here's what's kind of bugging me is the rear is just a lot brighter lit than the front, which is okay. I think if we were cropped on this front, I wouldn't notice the back, but the back is, yes, the headlight is the brightest part, so that's kind of where the eye is going. But I think what draws my eye is the brightest section of yellow at the back, and that's not in focus because it's night and limitations of depth of field. I get that. We're focused on the front, but I want the front to be brightened up, and I think that would be a pretty easy thing to do in post. I think you probably have the pixels in there to brighten up the front, maybe even tone back the rear. And if this was lit more evenly, really like the contrast in these surfaces, where this is in light and this is in shadow and this is in light. It kind of looks cool. So if this was just a little bit brighter, careful not to brighten the headlights, isolate those, could be a lot stronger. But yeah, I mean, at a glance, it looks like a studio shot or something. I think with some post-production, it could be even stronger. So great. And then this one, I'm not sure what the benefit of this like juxtaposition is, because it looks pretty intentional that you framed the Audi and framed the Porsche headlight in the shot, and I kind of want to focus on one or the other. It kind of seems like, again, I would like this to be horizontal maybe, but it seems kind of like we're straining to fit the front of both of these cars in the shot, and I'm not sure if that relationship is significant. I like the detail on this headlight and this turn signal, and the car looks like it has some patina, some rock chips, which is really cool to shoot, especially in the sun like this. So I think you're onto something, but I'm not sure if this combining the two adds anything for me. So, all right, thank you so much for sending those in. Kazimoski Alem sent this. Just one photo, a cool Renault. These are like forbidden fruit for me, and I know nothing about them. I don't know if this is a Clio, but love the high perspective. Love this concrete parking structure thing. I don't love this gap being so narrow. It's too close for comfort, I would say. But I like the perspective, and then this shadow is like I wish that like the badge was in the light, because it's intersecting with it. Yeah, I don't know. I would have moved the car around a little bit just to see how that changes, and if we can get it all in the light or have the front half in the light. If the front, this is not the relationship of this shadow, but if if half of the car, obviously I like what I like, but if half of the car was in this direct sun and everything else was knocked back, that could be cool. And then also it is very blue, and that happens when you get, shadows, especially when you're white balancing for sun, and then you have these shadows. It sometimes makes a very cool photo. So I'd like to warm it up if it was possible. But yeah, the shadow placement, I love weird half shadow stuff, but the placement is just not quite there for me. But I like this car. I like the framing. So we'll talk about what I do like. I like the framing. I like how there's room to breathe around the car. We've got a great road texture. This is a very cool wall. So we've got context for where we are. Maybe just try a couple different, tweak the position, and warm this up in the edit, and maybe even a little more contrast. But thank you so much for sending that. Luís Bandeira sent this, and we've got Miata, 2 shots of this Miata. I'm not sure if it's totally sharp. We can get past that. So first of all, I like the framing. I like that we've got this wide composition and the car is offset and it's clearly a focal point. I think there might be some camera limitations here. And then also, I talked about this in a previous one, but it kind of looks like the car should be moving, and it is static, but it's on this road surface in both of these. I kind of wish it was driving or was oriented in some other way, or if it was parked off to the side here or something. I think it's a cool location. Also, I'm not crazy about how blown out the background is here, and I'm not sure what the reality is that could be done about that. But beautiful texture on this, this parking structure thing. I like the textures on this roof and ceiling. I just don't like the color. I think the artificial lighting has made everything kind of purpley. So parts of it are green, parts of it are purple, and I would want to try to dial that back. A quick and dirty way would be to, isolate yellow and orange on the car, and then sort of drop the saturation down on some other things. But this isn't quite giving me the punch that I want to see. But I like the location. I think there's potential there. But an action shot here could be really cool. So here we've got a Hyundai N at a gas pump. You expose the color well. It's a pretty solid crop. I don't know if there's an option to get lower, block out more of this gas pump. I'm not going to say it's totally distracting the gas pump, but I would prefer not to see it. And then here, love this bridge. Love this. I mean, this is a beautiful location. I don't know where this is, but it is really, really interesting. So if the car was over to the right a little bit, we might have a little less intersection with whatever this is here. Nice exposure. This is a fantastic time of day. We've got great highlights on the car. I think the color grade is here. I think yeah, not having that indoor artificial light is helping, because you clearly know color and everything. So yeah, I want to see a couple more shots here. It also looks like we're very far away from the car, which is cool. Like you're probably like separated by a body of water or something, but a lot of potential with this spot for sure. It's a good shot. Here we've got 911 race car. I mean, it might be a 934. It is very sharp, very nice, really good panning shot. I love how there's the blue here that kind of matches the blue of the car. We got a really good blur there. So, I'm not usually crazy about verticals here, but I think it's giving us a lot of the scene. So, fantastic shot. This is brilliant. Really, really well done. And then here we've got long exposure man walking past two E30s. I like the long exposure. Like I like this kind of blur, but like this guy, I don't know, the face, kind of a horror movie vibe, how long the face is, and everything seems a little bit too bright. So I think if he were over here and he were off to the side and walking out of frame or walking in a frame, I think that could be stronger, but he is like right in the center, and I'm just picking over details, but that's why you sent them in. I like seeing the cars. I like seeing the garage. I think it's a little bit bright. I'm not sure. Yeah, this looks like it might have been a handheld long exposure, so if we could stabilize this with a tripod or putting it on something, it would be better. And I wish this guy was just in a different part of the frame. But thank you so much for sending those. Great work. Appreciate it, Luis. Okay, John Taylor sent one shot, and I'm going to put this in Photoshop just so I can see it bigger, because it's a little bit small. This looks like a brochure image. You'd have your 1986 7 Series brochure, and you'd open up like the full fold-out spread, and this would be what's there. We can get right down to the wet road, like they would do in the official marketing materials. Love this shot. Love the colors. Love the location. It's not like precariously off the road. It is level. We can see the background, and it's a beautiful background, but the car is purposefully in the frame. So yeah, it's great shot. I want to see more from this set or this series. And only thing I have to say is just that if this is kind of our horizon, or at least this is kind of where the lake meets the other side, it is, just a little close to the roof line. And then also, maybe this is like the tire thing, where I don't want to see the tread side of the tire if you have the wheel turned. I don't really want to see the back of the sunroof open. From the front, sunroof popped works. You're seeing more of the metal side. You see the back side, not so good. So lower that sunroof and then maybe get like 6 inches higher or 6 inches lower or a foot lower and take the photo. It's really all I got. And you could barely even see the sunroof. So this is a great shot. Great work. Thank you so much, John. Moritz sent these. Oh, that's cool. So I don't know. Are these from these are from some kind of museum? The Porsche Museum. It is the Porsche Museum. So for this one, it's nice. Like some of it's a little bit underexposed, which is fine. Whatever is behind it is a little distracting. And then we've got this amazing reflection in this floor, and I kind of wish we could see more of it. Maybe there's a technical reason we couldn't, but it would be cool if they had, a centered. If this was all centered and we had this crazy reflection of the car and this tile floor, that would really, really work. I do like the space above it, but it would be interesting to see that. This one just feels a little snapshotty to me. Maybe if we were a little bit further away and zooming in a little more. I do appreciate the cleanness and how bright the colors are. And this is a very interesting car that you shot for sure. And then this one, I don't know if you like really dialed back the exposure or how you did this, because I've been to this museum and I don't remember any car spotlit in such a dramatic way. So I don't know if it was a special occasion or an event or something, but it looks really cool. I love seeing everything else is dark and then this one car is spotlit. So it's great. If this is a person on the escalator, might be a little better if we waited until they were not there, but that's all I got. So Moritz, I don't know if any of that was helpful, but thank you so much for sending those in. Great shots. Rossisrollingshutter. He sent a lot of photos. All right, I'm going to take out the bikes just because there's a lot here. Oh, there's a very pretty background. All right, so we're going to go through these quickly because there's 13 photos. I like this. Love the reflection. That's kind of what I wanted to see in the last thing with that GT2. Love that reflection. Colors, not totally my preference, but the colors are cool. The colors are a little much here, and I don't love how we lose this opposite side of the spoiler because it's black against the black background, and then the parking lines, the high perspective. If we were maybe lower, that would help some of this. This one is a stronger shot. This one is my favorite of the Evos. I really like how we've kind of carved out this area in here. Like, I think that works. I think the tones work. I really like how, these leaves and everything looks, the colors. I think this one's really nice. And we got a 911. This one feels like you sort of saw a car and the wheels turned the wrong way. There's some stuff in the background I don't like. I love the car, but I don't really love how it was captured here. I think that there's more potential. I think there was more potential maybe. And then another thing is when you have these tails with the rubber, you got to kind of watch for where that intersects, and it's kind of intersecting here. Sometimes it's easy for the rubber to disappear. It gets something black or clash with a line in the background. So that's just something to watch for. All right, and we've got Aston Martin interior. Steering wheel is sharp. This is all kind of blown out. There's like a weird rug on the dash. McLaren interior. Steering wheel is sort of straight. Better. Besides from that, I like the framing here, kind of how the light's hitting it in an interesting way. Nothing's too blown out except for that. Maybe a little tighter would work. MG steering wheel's totally turned. I know it's probably an event. You can't just reach in and turn it, but love the colors. Love the pop. It's just that wheel is going to be distracting. This is an instance where, you could say, hey, I'm going to zoom in on these dials, and at the steering wheel, these bars become a texture in front of the dial. I think that would be a way to go. Just a little close to the edge over here. I kind of want to be a little bit more centered. I love what's happening with the glass, so maybe we just zoom out a little bit. Here we've got a detail. I thought this was a wheel detail, but it kind of seems like what's in focus is the vent. So if this is a vent detail, I kind of want it to be more obvious that this is what we're focusing on. We've got an F40 and an Enzo. Badge is precariously close to the edge. If we want to juxtapose these cars and show them together, maybe you could be using a longer focal length a little bit further over here and then compress them to bring them closer together. That's kind of my only note. Now this one, I really like this. Again, if you're going to use, something a little wider, I can't say what the focal length is, but I would guess 35 or something like that. Full frame 35. If you're this, like being under here, seeing this underside, seeing the width, seeing the underside of the spoiler and just how weird the proportions are and everything, I think is really cool. Again, you're showing the viewer something they may not have ever seen. So I think this is a great shot. Just again, using your eyes, looking around, and then this one's a little off center. We've got this giant spoiler that's getting lost in the fence. In this case, you probably did. This is the same car. The color's quite different between them. So on this car, I would say, we'll do a detail because we've got the fence. But if you got super low, and maybe that would minimize the fence, or I don't know. I like the background here. It's not noon. It's clearly not noon. It looks like early morning. So I think you could do something. So this is a detail on the shady side. That's also why it's a little bluer. So if we had some details on the sunny side, or get super low and get the whole thing and try that. But right now it's a little bit off because it is not level. Oh, and then we got the same thing here. Yeah, this kind of works. I think we're focused on the taillights, but yeah, I don't know. You sent a lot of images, and I appreciate it, and you got some good stuff there. So thank you so much, Josh. Okay, we got Raymond Majors. He sent quite a variety here, so let's take a look. This is a something Kingswood. I like the colors. I like the framing. It's it's almost kind of centered on this wheel. It's kind of almost unfortunate that this Mustang is in the background. It's not the end of the world. Everything seems a little bit dark, but I really do like the detail. This wheel, the bumper, this badge, mirror, really nice details. We can see all of them. They're all nice and sharp. Yeah, it feels a little bit underexposed, but I like the color on the ground too. So here we've got Lexus LC with some people peeping on it. Yeah, we're really close to the edges. It's not totally centered. This could benefit from a CPL. We've got these trees that are not just behind it, but they're causing these reflections on it. So maybe a higher perspective looking down at like a grill or something would have been maybe something to try here. Let's see what else we got. This is here, this is called like an Infinity, and in other markets is a Nissan of some sort, and this one goes pretty hard. Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. A CPL would help. It's kind of wearing a hat with this tent here. Not my favorite. It's funny how this guy's checking it out. But good colors again. Let's see what else. I like this interior. This is such a mood. There's times where you want an interior shot to show the interior and this is the car and we're it's a car review or it's for Bring a Trailer. This is not that. This is feels like a frame from a movie. Just the tones, the detail, how this wood looks. This is nice and sharp. These are sharp. It's a lot of cool details to take in. Yeah, I really, really like this. Really nicely exposed, good colors, a really immersive interior shot, I would say. And then I like this also. Whenever you can get on the ground and be looking up, that is, one of the best things about like modern cameras with like flip out screens and everything, is if you can shoot, looking upward towards the sky, you can show something that people aren't used to seeing, and you also can be easily eliminating background distractions or other things, blocking those out. So this is a great detail, a really great perspective. So I think this one you nailed. This one seems, kind of like a snapshot. I don't know why the trunk is open. I don't know if I would have focused on this car or the full car from this perspective. We do have really nice light coming through. It's a beautiful time of day, and I think we have a shadow of a person here. So maybe a crop or something would have been the way to go. We've got a crown from above with the wheel turn. We are really close, and I don't know what, the limitation was probably, whatever you were standing on. Assuming this is not a drone shot. I like this. I wish the wheel was straight just for this, from this perspective, since we are so close. But yeah, it is nice. Again, like your color edits, they're really engaging. I would say have a nice vibe for sure. Thank you so much, Raymond. Scian sending 2 very different shots. This one I just love. I mean, I love an M3. I love an E46. Love the color, the tones. This blue is so rich. This backdrop is clean. The plants in the foreground are just fantastic. I really like it. This one really gripped me when I first saw it. And then when I'm looking at it now, it's like, oh, like there's a little bit of distortion from on the top, with it not being like totally squared off. And it is, if you think about it, it's kind of weird that it's like parked halfway on this driveway or almost fully on this driveway and not quite. But it doesn't really matter. I think it's a really pretty shot of this car in a really pretty place, with great tones, nice reflections. And the colors look so good. Like, you just made this car look like $1 million. I think the badge might be a little bit blown out or have like some chromatic aberrations. But I'm not super concerned with that. There's just something very rich about the edit, the way it was captured. So I dig this for sure. This one, I right off the bat, I don't like the pull here. I'm not totally sure if it's sharp. It looks like there was kind of some over sharpening maybe. The tones are really nice, like the great blues and yellows. So I think it's almost there. It's kind of neat how there's like these spectrum of colors reflected in the chrome. Kind of a weird arrange, just kind of unfortunate how he lines up with that, so we don't really see the shape of the car. So this might be somewhere where you crop a little bit more and get some more details, or get more of this reflection on here at the bottom. But good tones, keep at it. Great work. Thank you so much for sending those in. Timo Tavio sent this stunning car, stunning shot, beautiful place, an amazing sky. When it's getting dark like this, there is still light, and the light that is available is hitting the car in such a magic way. The taillights are lit up, the light is hitting the wheels, it's popping. This is a great shot. I always love when I can be somewhere truly remote and shoot at like all the way until the sun goes down, and you get stuff like this. It's so much fun to try that. If you've not done that, take whatever car you have access to and go, if it's possible, get somewhere really remote and just have room to shoot and experiment and let the sun just totally set, and you can get some really amazing stuff, even if you might not get something as good as this, but you might get reflections of a sky like that in the fender, in the paint somewhere, and that kind of stuff. You just can't ever get that or see that, and it's always a lot of fun. So nothing to say, just keep doing this. This is really, really pretty and nicely done. Okay, now we've got MB Productions Max Boeger, and we've got 2 images of this GL EQB. So let's see. I dig the wall. I mean, both these this location is really stunning. I guess is it lit up from blue inside the car or behind the car on this side? I'm not quite sure. This one we've got a really dramatic blue and red happening. And then this one, seems to be localized entirely within the car. So it's light painted. I think we've got the trail of the light painting here. I would assume this was lit in a similar way. There's just something a little bit unnatural about how it's lit. I just did a light painting tutorial where I talk about, the source of the light. Why is the car lit in this way? And here, it does seem like a little bit hard to see what is lighting this car, and I feel like also these lights might be a little blown out. And part of that is that it's raining. I see it's got the raindrops on it, so that's kind of fractaling these running lights. I'm just getting into like nitpicky complaints, but if you layered this shot, as I suppose you did, if it was light painted, then you would possibly have a separate layer with your lighting on it, and you could kind of dial that in, wiping down these headlights before you got that shot, and you could sort of adjust how bright or how blown out the lighting is. I mean, this is technically beautifully done. This background is insane. It's so cool. I just want, I don't know, a little bit more of a visual explanation for it being lit in this way, and maybe a shadow of the car, because right now it is kind of a mystery. I do like how the ground, is wet and reflecting. Also, I think that is another thing. I think if the car was lit up this brightly, I think that the reflection would also have some of that light. So that's just something to consider. Yeah, okay. I think the light source there's something blue lit in the car, and it is casting this wall, maybe augmented a little bit. Yeah, it's a really cool idea. Definitely. I keep saying to everyone, just keep at it. But yeah, like, you're doing cool stuff and you're experimenting, and love to see it. I don't know if you're experimenting. You're probably professional for all I know, and I'm just dogging on you for no reason. Thank you so much for sending that in. Mercedes and BMW together at last. This is Herman Enzo. Cool last name. Yeah, I think a polarizer might help here with just knocking back that glass. We've got like kind of a green color edit here. It's very green, very bright here. These look similar. I don't know if they were the same time of day, because this one, it looks like it was darker ambient light. I kind of like how there's the reflection of the BMW coming through here. I kind of want to emphasize that. I like the taillight detail. I like how the lights look. I would maybe want to like play with the colors to make it a little more true to the taillight color. I don't know if this license plate light is really that orange. So I don't know if there's some weird stuff happening with the saturation and colors. It's not the end of the world. I think this is a neat detail. I think everything's a little bit bright. And then this one, I'm not sure if this is like the best arrangement of the two cars. Arranging cars is difficult to make a cool composition. So the BMW looks good where it is. The Mercedes, maybe have it turned a little more, or come forward, turn it possibly even the other direction. But right now, it's not quite centered. It's not quite head on. So it kind of gives me a snapshot vibe, just because it doesn't look like it was very carefully placed, which is fine, but I don't know if I would call out the grouping of the two cars if they're kind of like haphazardly put together. Here it is a little bit interesting how they kind of complement each other, but yeah, the BMW is not doing a lot for us in the photo since it is completely out of focus. So we're focused on this Mercedes. I don't know if maybe the shot should just be of the one car. So if any of that helps. Anyway, that's been this round of feedback. Thank you so much for sending stuff in. If I didn't get to you, I will, and hopefully I can make these faster. So thanks again. Bye.